What's going on, everybody? You got the three of us, Jack McMullen, Aram Layton, I'm Peter Apple, and we're doing a live stream for the 2023 MLB All-Star Game. We're doing the intros right now. We were already talking about how horrible the pants are. We also made a couple of comments about how the steam machines are probably getting blasted all over fans in the front row. Maybe they're not. Any general predictions, gentlemen? If I could run you through some quick stats before you give your predictions. Since 2000, the American League is 18-3-1. And you're probably wondering, how is there a tie? In 2002, they tied 7-7, and there were no MVPs from that game. I didn't go back and watch the 2002 All-Star game. I have no idea what was going on there. If we're talking about MVPs, 19 hitters, 2 pitchers. Trivia question. Can you name the last All-Star Game MVP that was a pitcher?
No.
No shot.
Shane Bieber.
Whoa.
Shane Bieber. What about, if you can't name one, you're definitely not going to name the other. Maybe. I'll give you a hint. Closer, American League East, kind of a little while ago. But since 2000.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Nope.
That was a great guess.
Great guess. Great if it's wrong.
Yeah, no, but that was a good guess. I don't even have a better one than that. I don't.
Zach Britton.
It was the greatest closer of all time in Mariano Rivera.
Trevor Hoffman.
No, not Trevor Hoffman.
It made me think there was no way it was Mariano. I don't know why.
Mariano Rivera. Okay. Average 7.9 runs per game in these. Generally low scoring. And I see a lot of people out there wanting to bet the Nerfy or the Yerfy. In the last 22 All-Star games, it has hit 11 times. So Nerfy is already a coin flip. And in the All-Star game, it is a coin flip. So us three, we're going to react. We're going to answer questions. For the MLB draft stream, we were very focused on each individual pick, trying to break down everything, making it a little bit more official. This is just a hangout. Yeah. We're just chilling. We got laptops open. This is an exhibition game at the end of the, we're just laughing, having a good time watching the All-Star game. Hopefully you guys will stay tuned. We don't know how long we're going to go. The shortest length will be 5 innings. The longest length will probably be 7 innings. We're not going to do the entire thing depending on how the game goes. Jack, you got anything to say?
Well, let's hope I have something to say with this being, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. No, I mean, so what fascinates me most by this, American League looks really clean. The light teal type thing going on, the marine look, but the white pants. These charcoal or black pants look brutal on the National League.
We're wearing right now.
Yeah, and like National League got the short end of the stick when it came to that. I also just got a text from my younger brother. My brother and my mom were almost deciding their opinion on players based on if they tried to high-five both sides of the kid line as they ran out. And if they only tried to high-five one, then the players are dead to them. Unfortunately, Shohei Ohtani only went to the left side, which is brutal. And it's hard to abandon Shohei Ohtani, but it sounds like my younger brother and my mother are no longer Shohei Ohtani fans.
It's interesting.
I've heard character issues are a thing with Shohei, so it kind of comes together there. I'm excited for the game. I guess we can just answer some questions too. Like, what do we got? Nerfy's caked. Why is the Nerfy caked? No, caked is bad. But cake is an inherently good food. Why is cakes bad?
It's kind of like you're slicing yourself off a piece of fat, in the sense like a sugary piece of fatness, where you're just like, this thing is caked. It's a good word. It's mostly coined by the Book It crew with Trent, where he's just like, something is caked. And I think it's really taken over gambling vernacular.
It definitely has. I want some questions here. We'll do a little little Q&A. We'll do some.
Let's make some predictions for the All-Star game.
Yeah, hold on. Let me look at the lineups.
Who's gonna win an MVP?
Let me look at the lineups. What do we got? Do we have the lineups up here? Oh, are we supposed to stop for the national anthem?
Yeah, we can just put it on.
Who's that? never heard. But any baseball related questions we can answer? Oh, score prediction. How have the last few? I know you've talked about the averages, but I feel like the scoring's gone down by year a little bit. I just imagine all of these freak shows and one inning spurts is just a fucking joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like offense is up overall. Like they're not going to be shifting. I don't know. I feel like the hitters are a little bit stronger than the pitchers. A lot of pitchers kind of had to bow out last minute. I think we'll get some runs. I'm going to say, and also regression to the mean. I have no idea why the American League has dominated the National League for so long. It's so weird. I'm going to go National League wins 5-3.
I like that. So I was actually going to make a pick on this game, but more often than not, and I've actually been pretty profitable just because I take the American League every year. Yeah. It's just easy. You take the American League. They've won 9 straight. But at the same time, I looked at the National League roster. I'm like, damn, they could probably win it this year. But the thing is, I've done that before. And I've just taken the American League. So I'm just going to do that again, even though I think the National League has a better roster and they should win. But it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to go the opposite. You went 5-3 National League. Give me 5-3 American League. Another thing, the winner of the All-Star game has covered the run line. So won by 2 or more, 59% since 2022 or since 2000. The highest scoring affair was a couple of years ago. I think it was back in 2019 where the American League won 8-6. Last couple of years, it's been like 3-2, 2-1. I think we get just a regular ass All-Star game, a 5-3 American League win. They make it 10 in a row.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be a hard-fought battle between two sides that are littered with all-stars.
Yeah,
so really talented lineups, but also really talented pitching staffs. And I think we're going to see some of the best pitchers in baseball toe the rubber in this game. Yeah, I think. No, man, I think I would love to see like a Luis Arias win the MVP, but he's only going to get 2 plate appearances, and I don't think 2 for 2 wins you an MVP. I don't think this is the year where we get a pitcher winning the MVP. I think there's going to be a homer. I think there might be a homer right away, and I think that Acuna might be the MVP. Garrett Cole, we know, 4-seamer guy. He's been awesome. It feels like Cole's going to give Acuna 99, and Acuna is going to send that 99 450.
I like that.
These kids, that's who you guys think. Who your homer?
I like Mookie. I think he's pissed. He's disappointed in his performance. No, he's not pissed, but I do think he's like, I want to go get something here. You know, I think he's gonna lock in a little bit extra. I think he goes deep, and then on the American League side, I think someone off the bench. I don't know who, but I think someone off the bench. I think Austin Hayes goes 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop up. I'm gonna say Seager goes deep, and honestly, I think we might get some fireworks in the first. I don't know. I have a weird feeling Zach Gallen or Garrett Cole can just give up a bomb right away. I like the Acuna pick. Don't you have the Yurfie? No, you have exactly 1 run scored.
Yeah,
He's exactly 1 run scored, parlayed with like Medvedev to win in Wimbledon -500.
If I were a betting man, it would be exactly 1 run.
Yeah, if you were, yeah.
What, Daniil Medvedev and Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah, if I were a betting man, it would be exactly 1 run scored in the first inning, and then I also love. It wasn't Medvedev, it was Stefano Tsitsipas, and Carlos Alcaraz to win their matches at Wimbledon in the next 12 hours or so.
I wish I knew anything about tennis. I'm going with the kind of the pick that we always forget when the bright lights are on. I think Randy's going to win the All-Star Game MVP, and I think the American League takes it home for the 10th straight. But in reality, the National League could win. So if the National League wins, who would be my MVP pick? Can you load up the lineups again? Could be someone that just comes in late. You know what? National League, I think it's going to be a difference maker. I think you're going to get some right-handed reliever in the American League facing off against Juan Soto, and I think he's going to remind everybody, hey, I'm still Juan Soto. Yeah. So if the National League wins, I like Juan Soto as my MVP pick. If the American League wins, I think Randy's going to be the difference maker. But I do think the American League wins. Now, for a home run prop, I wish I could take no home runs in this thing, because it's not often that we get a bunch of home runs. If I had to pick a home run, you know, the All-Star game is always weird. I feel like Luis Arias is going to hit a home run. He's going to hit like his 5th of the year.
Oh, he hit two in the WBC.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like if this was at Lone Depot Park, it'd be Luis Arias.
They better bring Ichiro out, by the way.
You know what? home run pick, Corbin Carroll arrives on the scene and hits a freaking 440-foot opposite way home run. Opposite.
Where's Ichiro? Where's Ichiro? That's all I want to know.
Where is Ichiro?
Haven't seen him yet, but I was going to ask. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. has to be exhausted after this All-Star weekend. This guy has been paraded around, but you know what? He was giving J-Rod some hugs yesterday, and that got a crazy reaction from the T-Mobile crowd or from the T-Mobile Park crowd. And then I just saw him bear hug Ohtani as well. So at least Griffey is like making this a really good time for everybody. But I mean, he is kind of like the token Mariner right now, which is fascinating. When I feel like Ichiro could absolutely help him out as being one of the token Mariners.
Well, Ichiro might be playing right now. Yeah. Like he might be training. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. Question for Aram.
Best player to buy low right now for potential second half breakout.
Love that.
Cards.
Oh, in terms of cards.
In regards to collecting cards.
Ooh. So we're talking about like a prospect?
Yeah, like a guy.
Especially for potential second half breakout.
Chase DeLauder.
Uh-huh.
Chase DeLauder of the Guardians. He's healthy and he's raking. Swing looks really good. First round pick. He had like a weird foot issue. Yeah, no, I know. He had a weird foot issue. I think DeLauder is going to go nuts down the stretch here. That's definitely a nice pickup card wise. I know people don't like to invest in pitchers, but I was just looking at Gavin Stone. His velo is back up, and he's unveiled a little cutter at like 90 to 92, which is nasty. And the changeup's already freakish. He couldn't really throw a slider, so they banged that, moved to the cutter. And I think Gavin Stone could be a nice little piece too. But from a card perspective, Chase DeLauder, take that and run. And then Curtis Mead, he was hurt, and he finally is healthy, and he's been crushing baseballs since he's been healthy. I think those are some good card pickups that are definitely cheaper than they should be. Oh, I love that Fox song.
It's really good.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Is Joe Buck on the mic or is it Joe Davis?
Joe Davis.
Yeah, Joe Buck said, I don't even like baseball anymore, which stinks because I miss Joe Buck. But at the same time, I love Joe Davis, so I'm not that depressed. But I do miss a little bit of Joe Buck.
Who's better, Jack?
Answer right now.
I think they're both excellent.
Yeah, cop out. Joe Davis is very good at what he does, though. Any other predictions? Any other thoughts before we get into game time?
Can I give you a pitcher that we were talking about, though? And I know the pitcher cards are a whole bunch of nothing, but we were talking about Noah Schultz a little bit earlier this morning. Noah Schultz, first-round pick of the White Sox last year, was hurt. In a very brief sample, Schultz has been flat-out awesome. So, yeah, he's 6'9". No, I think Noah Schultz is the guy. Other predictions, I'm not sure, man. I think we're going to see some tools on display. Like, I think, we talk about it in the futures game, and I think the best example of it is Mason Wynn ripping off that throw at 100.6. Like, I think we may start to see more of that because this has turned into a full exhibition game instead of it actually mattering for home field advantage in the World Series. So I would love to see somebody like Acuna. Like, if he has a fly ball hit to him with a man at second, I'm trying to see 105 out of his hand headed to third base. Like,
who they're miking up?
I have no idea who they're miking up. That's a great point.
Who would you like to be mic'd up?
Who would I like to be mic'd up is such a good question.
Castellanos. Well, I'd kill for Castellanos.
Who do I want to see? I mean, I would love to hear what Acuna has to say about his season so far, recovering from the knee injury, how good he feels. I really want to see more of these pitchers. I loved watching Alek Manoah last year when he was on the mic too, just going through progressions.
I wish they had mic'd him up in that complex start.
How about with the Fisher Cat?
It's so cool to have a pitcher mic'd up while they're pitching.
That's what Manoah.
That's what they're going to do. Yeah.
I also would love to hear J-Rod. And if Ohtani could potentially be mic'd up, that would be amazing. Mookie.
Absolute lock that they were going to use a Macklemore instrumental for the All-Star intro video. Macklemore, okay, Ken Griffey Jr. and Macklemore, and now you've got Corbin Carroll ordering a coffee with this intro video. I love it. I'm a huge fan of Seattle, Washington. Like, we had some excellent Joe this week. Yes. Great coffee, Connor Joe. But no, I mean, it's been fun, man. Seattle is it's a good spot, and the weather, like, I sat outside. We sat outside and got a coffee in like Tacoma today, and it was just awesome. Like, quality of air doesn't get better than this, man.
That's what I said too. Like I'm from California, and whenever you get off the plane in Santa Barbara, you just take a huge of the air, and it's just amazing. And you got the same thing here in Seattle. It's just fresher. You know, we're all well. Jack's coming from the Midwest. Aram and I are coming from New York City, and the air is definitely different. I can guarantee you that the air is 1,000% different. Also, be on the lookout. We're just putting up the Just Baseball show. That episode just went out. Little home run derby recap. Some Nolan Arenado stuff. Like I want to call them rumors, but like they're not even rumors. Basically, the main gist of it was that John Heyman released an article on the New York Post saying there's a chance that Arenado could be traded if the Cardinals decide to tear it down. And basically, the article was a quote from Arenado saying, "Well, I wouldn't be surprised if I was traded. This is a business. I was traded once," which is basically kind of no shit.
And he also has a no trade clause. He has a no trade clause, so it's still up to him. Like it's up. I wouldn't be surprised, but I could also stop the trade at any moment.
What if they just trade him back to the Rockies? It'd be the most Rockies move to be like, we'd actually like him back and we'll pay you again.
We'll give you more we'll give you better prospects back, and we'll take him.
And then a little bit of the White Sox stuff.
Here's an interesting note on the starting pitchers here real quick. By run value, just overall pitches in baseball, it's every single pitch thrown. Charlie Morton's curveball, the best pitch in baseball in terms of run value, but two of the top four. Zach Gallen's four-seamer is number 2. Garrett Cole's four-seamer is number 4. So they both, well, Gallen's at -18, Cole's at -17. So I think we knew that about Cole's four-seamer. Gallen's is much different. And it's not, I guess, as well documented because Gallen is in the midst of his super breakout season. I think everybody knew that Gallen was really good. They didn't know he was this good. Zach Gallen's four-seamer really plays. Cole's obviously really plays. But Cole's has been susceptible. Gallen's was susceptible for, I want to say, a 2-start stretch. Aside from that, he's been absolutely dynamite. I like McClanahan had to labor through his first inning last year. I like that Cole's thrown in a lot of these before. I could see Gallen throwing 20 pitches in the first inning. Cole, he may make a mistake, but I could see him just like peppering the strike zone.
Do you think the home road splits kick in for Gallen in this one inning in the All-Star game? Technically, it's a road start and it's against an All-Star lineup. This could actually go horribly. This could go horribly, Aram.
If he gives up like a 5 spot. Yeah. The one thing I also wanted to note, one other prediction. I think Kenley Jansen comes in. It's not a save opportunity, and he gives up a bomb. And it's going to be to like Elias Diaz. Like I don't
read how good Kenley's cutter has been. Check that out.
The other thing I wanted to mention in the meantime. Who are the All-Stars you're least excited to see?
Michael Lorenzen.
Lorenzen. I'm going to go Whit Merrifield, Orlando Arcia, Geraldo Perdomo, Alex Cobb. Craig Kimbrell, just because there's just something about that guy. I don't know. I'm pumped to see Mitch Keller. This is gonna be a tread masterclass. Yes. And then I know they're not gonna mic up Castellanos because I feel like he probably would hate that shit. Like he'd just probably be like, no. But if they did, it'd be my Super Bowl.
Cohen, can you? Someone's like sending you spam links. Can you ban them? Or something?
Oh yeah, get that spammer out of here. Yeah. See ya
later. Bang,
producer Cohen.
We got a lot of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did a home run after he won the home run derby.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Oh wait, we just missed Garrett Cole.
You just said I'm
gonna pitch.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go fastball.
Yeah, turn it up.
Trivia question: where did JD Martinez play college baseball? Chat. Anyone in the chat know where JD Martinez played college baseball? It's about 20 minutes from my house. His teammate was also Mike Fiers. His teammate was also Miles Michaelis. His teammate was also Carlos Asuaje, I believe. The answer is Nova Southeastern University. Division II school with like 3 big leaguers. The only reason Mike Fiers got drafted was that the scouts were there for JD and just saw him continue to get outs at like 85. But he had like a .005 ERA. And the scout was like, fuck it, we'll take a shot. And guy threw 2 no-hitters. But Nova Southeastern University, Division II in Florida. Big league talent. Big league talent.
I just don't know how Sean Murphy doesn't go yard too. I feel like he's a little bit underrated in this one. I do like the American League uniforms because I'm not a big uniform guy. I don't really give a shit about all that. But when you're rocking charcoal pants, you're gonna get my attention. I do kind of like the team logo on the side though. I do like that. I don't mind that one bit.
Yeah, why are they both blue?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is just very Seattle.
I like the white pants with that though.
Yeah. I'm trying to watch Garrett Cole have a dominant outing. How about a little bit of Pedro Martinez-esque in 1999? Or was that in 98? Remember when he struck out the side? Or did he go 2 innings and struck out every batter? You guys remember that Pedro outing in the All-Star game? Remember Pedro in the All-Star game was like the greatest thing since sliced bread? 98, 99. Remember that? I thought, well, no, we didn't watch it, but it's just baseball lore. Like, Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs. Yeah, I don't remember those either. Pedro Martinez, 6 up, 6 down, 5 Ks. There it is. Yeah. Oh, he was unbelievable. But that was in the midst of like the greatest pitching seasons ever.
You know who else was? That's kind of when we got the proper introduction to Jacob deGrom.
Yes.
Yeah, deGrom was like elite in the All-Star game, and that's when he had, the flowing hair as well. And he was still just like trying to come into his own as a pitcher. But no, man, it was deGrom was big. So that was the, I guess, the fondest All-Star memory I have was like, hey, welcome to the Jacob deGrom show. I'm trying to figure out who else. I also vividly remember Mike Trout winning All-Star Game MVP, and I'm asking which kind of car he wanted, a Corvette or like a big pickup truck. And the only thing he said, like, not a thank you, this means a lot. He was just said, I'll take the vet.
Wait, who said that?
Mike Trout. He was, I'll take the vet, and that's it. It was awesome. Guy plays ball, and that's about it. Tracks the weather, tweets plane emojis.
Wait.
Todd Titchener at the plate, the crew chief.
I got an issue here. Where the fuck is Pat Hoberg?
Yeah.
Also, Ramon De Jesus was the guy that got the triple kill. Just, you're gone. You're gone. You're gone. Pat Hoberg not being here is actually
over half
ejections. I would never. Under. If you get ejected in the All-Star game, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
You're actually a freak.
Give me one player who you think would get ejected in the All-Star game if possible.
Oh, that's a good one. One player who I think would get ejected in the All-Star game if possible.
First pitch. Oh, who was on ball plus 160 Garrett Cole first pitch?
Donaldson? Could Donaldson get tossed in a? Donaldson could get tossed in a.
Yeah, but he's not. No. I'm saying in this current.
In this current game. No way.
No way.
Oh!
Adolis.
With the sun in his face. Oh, that's fire. Adolis is crazy. Okay. I need to answer this question. I'm not giving up the mic until I answer this question. In the chat, also would love the chat to get involved in this. Who's the one person in this futures game that you could see All-Star game that you could see getting ejected? I'm so poor. I'm not. No dice.
Who's an angry pitcher that could argue balls and strikes? Because that's probably what it would have to be. Garrett Cole's in 94 in the All-Star game. We are so screwed. Craig Kimbrell?
Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. Garrett Cole just threw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Is he cooked?
Is he hurt? No, he's probably... Because this game doesn't matter anymore. That's why I didn't make a bet on this game, because it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, that was nasty. This cam is so cool. David Freese, and we will see you tomorrow night That's the greatest call ever.
Shohei because he's too fast.
Shohei, because he's too fast, gets
Ejected
ejected.
too fast.
Too good. Get out of the game. You're not making this fun. Another fly ball to the left. This might go. This might go. Oh!
I don't even know if he did the job.
Big time Randy. I mean, what is going on right now? Yeah, I love Randy so much. I mean, this is crazy so far.
This is what you want.
This is what you want.
What is he wearing?
He's got hair extensions in. Is that what it is?
No.
Oh no, it's
What is that?
I don't know what it is.
It's like a little braid, cornrow type thing.
Randy's hair's that long.
No.
So does Mookie finally get it out of the park? Do you think if this All-Star game was in Yankee Stadium, those are both homers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely the one to right.
Juan Soto is the one that would be ejected. I think it could be Soto.
Soto.
Also,
I'm so out on this.
1, 2, 3 inning for Cole is brutal.
1, 2, 3 inning for Cole. 1, 2, 3 inning for Cole. 2 incredible plays. One by Adolis Garcia of the Rangers. Another one by Big Game Randy. I mean, how did we not? Who's the MVP so far? I think it'd be Randy.
No, Adolis.
Is it Adolis? What was Adolis? What Adolis was the better catch?
Adolis was the way better catch.
I think the thing is, would have Dolis's catch been better if he didn't lose it in the sun? I feel like Randy's was the actual better catch. Adolis's looked cooler.
But Adolis had to fight the sun. Adolis had to fight the sun. He did get turned around. That was a hard catch. I'm gonna go Adolis. I'm gonna go MVP Adolis of the first half of the first inning. And now we got Zach Gallen. I feel like Gallen's gonna take it really seriously. Gallen's like he gives me hardo vibes. Like he's a bit of a hardo.
Should we live bet the American League?
Do we know like the order of pitchers? Is the order of pitch?
We
Never know. Strider's gonna come in and go 1, 2, 3.
Strider, I don't think he's pitching.
Oh, is he not pitching?
no, I don't think he's pitching in this.
Oh yeah, the asterisk means they're not pitching in this. Yeah,
You didn't do your due diligence on the 5th through the 8th inning.
absolutely not.
I mean, what are we doing?
All right, yeah. So for those who are watching that may be curious, actually, players who will not be available to throw in this one in the American League: Shane McClanahan, Framber Valdez, Emmanuel Clase. In the National League: Strider, Elder, Kershaw, Stroman, and Devin Williams. Damn, I would have loved to have seen Devin Williams.
I'm excited to see
Kodai Senga. You think he's just only going to throw ghost forks? Only ghost forks.
Maybe 98 and then like nothing but ghost forks.
Is Duran in this? Where's Sean Duran? Is he not in this? He's not an all-star?
No, he's not an all-star.
I think, dude, I've never been more checked out on like all-star rosters in my entire life. It's always like, oh, this guy got snubbed, and then 12 hours later, someone gets hurt and they put him in. It's just like, okay.
I'm more interested in the snubs than the All-Star game. That's my MO.
Can I give you the EVs against Garrett Cole there? I mean, like best hitters on the face of the earth. Acuna at 100.2, Freddie at 99.7, Mookie at 101.2. Like everything is hit so ridiculously hard. These guys are incredible.
But at the same time, Garrett Cole's throwing 93.
Yeah.
He's just serving him up there for him. See, like, this is the American League lineup that somehow wins 5-3. Semien Ohtani, Randy Seager, Yandy Adolis. And then you're rounding them out with Josh Young, Austin Hayes, Jonah Heim. Yeah, Gallen, prediction here, Gallen gives up 2 earned runs. I think he's going to be nervous. Let's see what happens. First pitch here to Marcus Semien. I don't think Shohei's going to pitch at all. Blister. I don't think he's going to pitch at all. I think he's just going to hit and probably. Also, we didn't pick Ohtani as our MVP. Like, he's probably going to win the MVP. Like,
No.
what if Ohtani steals a base? God, I hope that happens.
Oh, Mookie.
Yeah, let's listen to Mookie here talk for a little bit. This game's going to end 1-0. We're going to get a home run here from Ohtani.
I didn't realize it was George Valera who was throwing those punches.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'm watching the George Valera fight in Columbus where he's just trying to stick a catcher in the chest and just the catcher doesn't even move. It's just like, all right. George Valera, bro. All right, let's go. Wait, he already got out? What was the first play?
Ground out to third.
Ground out to third. Is Mookie the chillest dude in the whole league? Like number one chillest. I'd love to bowl with Mookie.
Oh, yeah.
Be a good time.
With Mookie. I think he's a scratch.
Of course. He's one of those assholes that's just good at everything.
Incredible athlete.
Oh, what do we got? Any good questions?
Is Shohei fast?
No, he's not fast.
Fast. So fast. Jack has no idea that he's fast. No idea. Has never watched him. How is it? First time.
Yeah, well, it's cool so far. Haven't seen him run yet. I saw Gallen just turn over a crazy changeup.
Really good changeup.
Yeah, he got a swing and a miss from Ohtani, and then he kind of worked off the plate. So I vote 94 low and away. He doesn't want Ohtani taking him to the moon.
Oh,
95.
ties him up. Doesn't get it. No way that umpire was rigging him up.
No.
Oh, the check swing against Ohtani? That was a good pitch, though. He's probably looking low. He was probably looking at the same thing you were. Uh-oh. Sit down. Zach Gallen sits down. Shohei Ohtani. Thank you. Game by game highlights. I feel good at this. You know, you guys have all this broadcast experience when it was really me all along calling games. You don't like my play-by-play right now?
I love it.
It was
I love it.
Jackson who he was trying to punch to. I'm still in the George Valera fight. Just he's like Alex Jackson was just like just sitting there. Also, just like this isn't gonna hurt. Like you're made of glass.
I guess was it always the Nerfy? I guess we'll see right here with Big Game Randy. Also, we can't have you can't be ruining it, Jack.
Ruining what?
On the MLB score bug.
Oh, sorry. I will shield it. I'm on the portal here.
Randy might go yard. Oh, a little bit of that Louisiana Bayou. I don't think Gallen is nervous. My prediction, I don't think he's nervous. I don't think he's nervous for this exhibition game.
I think he's totally chilling. Oh, that's
some nasty changeups. See, Garrett Cole just threw 593 mile-an-hour fastball. I was like, hit it. I don't even care. Gallen's like giving us the arsenal. Randy's almost got a 400 OBP. Knew it. He's the best player ever when the lights are on. It was always Randy Rosarena.
He doesn't. That hair is not his. I don't understand. You just got an extension for the game?
Yeah. It's fire. Freddie's just being so nice and casual. That was a great start to your game. Keep it going, my friend. See what Seager does. Oh, he's going. Safe. Oh! That was a good tag by RC at Sean Murphy.
Oh, wait, that is his hair.
Yeah.
When did he have that much hair? No,
it's got to be extent. Yeah.
It's got to be an extension.
Was he out? He looked kind of safe. Oh, no, he's definitely out. Definitely out.
Wow, it's the best throw of all time.
Randy stealing in the All-Star game. He's just for the bright lights. He wanted a bag.
Oh, my God. Who had to put that on top of it?
What? No, it's okay. I didn't bet it.
It's hypothetical. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing has happened during the All-Star game so far. What was the highlight of the first inning?
Sitting with a couple of great friends and having a great friend run this live stream and producer Cohen. So,
chanting, come to Seattle to Ohtani.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. No, I think the highlight was great fun with you guys. And but we had a good time at the Futures game. We had a great time covering the draft. We had a great time at the Derby. I love that, like, I don't know, you almost have this week dedicated to baseball fun where everybody just kind of comes down on this one host city. Seattle's been a great host city. But like, dude, I mean, it's just been constant happenings. Like, we're going to leave here and, want to take a nap tomorrow when we land in our respective locations, which is going to be awesome. So, no, man, this has been a really cool weekend and beginning of the week. And everybody's going to take 2 or 3 days to get acclimated. And then the Yankees are going to get back to running Billy McKinney out in left field.
Thanks a lot for reminding me. Another thing I want to remind Aram, and we got a question in the chat too. Thoughts on the Victor Mesa situation? Aram Layton. We got some big laughs for big reasons. What's going on with Victor Mesa, the 26-year-old minor league? Is it a stretch to call him a prospect?
Yes. Yeah. Victor Mesa signed for $5.25 million by the Marlins out of it as an international free agent, despite the fact that he actually never hit in Cuba. But yeah, so his agent deserves to be enshrined in Cooperstown, first of all. But second of all, he should have been released probably like a year or two ago. And for those who may not know the story, this guy was one of the most like prized international free agents in a while. Marlins give him $5 million, 5.25, and he instantly was horrible. And it became very clear, like, oh, this guy catfished us. First professional season, he had a 537 OPS, 109 hits, 101 singles. Yeah, he stinks, but also like would get really angry. There was multiple instances in Pensacola where like he just got super mad because they cut BP down like too early or whatever it would be and just like lost it. And then he wasn't playing much in Jacksonville because he had a career 577 OPS, but he wasn't happy because he wasn't playing every day in AAA. And he just left, stormed out and left. And from what I understand, I don't think he's coming back. So opens up a roster spot in Jacksonville.
Opens up a roster spot. Let's watch Nathan Eovaldi. Let's see. That was painted, though. Good pitch. It's got to be weird pitching with an earpiece in. Yeah.
It would also fuck with me. Like, it would fuck with me having, like, if I'm a hitter and the pitcher's talking to himself, it looks like, while I'm hitting, it would just, like, distract me. I don't know. It would bother me.
This is turned into more of a spectacle rather than a game. Still cool, sort of. That's what we were saying. It was like, of All-Star weekend, I think the least entertaining part is the All-Star game. Like, the Futures game is awesome. The Home Run Derby is arguably the best thing in all team sports in terms of a All-Star weekend type event. And then you got the All-Star game where they just mic up guys. That's my favorite part of the All-Star game is just listening to these guys talk ball. That's my favorite. See what Eovaldi does here, 2-2. Good pitch. See, that's why I can never call games, because I'd just be like, good pitch, instead of like talk about the pitch. Do I think Bo Bichette will come into the game? I don't think there's any reason why he wouldn't. Is he injured? I don't think so. Let's see. Base knock for JD.
Randy, nice play. He's bolstering the MVP
Yeah.
case.
I mean, right now the MVP is either JD Martinez or Randy, you think?
Yeah, so far 2 singles to left field. Here's the thing.
Randy also has the catch.
Oh, Randy does have the catch. You make a nice point. So here's the deal. Oh, we already have some changes? No, we do not. They were just talking about the Rangers. So Manoah was awesome in his inning when he was mic'd up last year. Like, what if Eovaldi allows like 3 hits in a row? Like, yeah, do you just stop talking? Like, do you scrap it? Like, you have to hit a dump it point.
This is just the Rangers versus the Braves. We're watching Rangers versus the Braves with a couple of like substitutions. I mean, that's been the story though of the first half of the MLB season. Nolan Arenado, let's see what you do. You're probably going to get traded, according to John Heyman. That's a good pitch.
Arise is singling. Arise, I feel like, is a guarantee for a single.
Up the middle. Where's it going? Where's the single
Slapping
going?
it the other way. Slapping it the other way.
Let's see what Nolan Arenado does here.
Oh.
Eovaldi's bringing it. Credit to Eovaldi's bringing it 96. Is this has to be Eovaldi's second All-Star game? This is third? Do we know that, Jack?
No way, it's more than 2.
It said that you guys picked up Blue Bob for the Derby and put money on it.
We did. He looked pretty damn good that first round. He also, do you guys hear that? The calf strain. I guess he got a calf strain during the Derby, and that's why he's not playing in this game. But he did look weirdly way worse in the second round. Just didn't have it. Didn't even have the distance. That's what was shocking to me, too. There was a lot of warning track flyouts when in the first round he's hitting balls 480 feet. So, wish we could control injuries.
3-1.
Me too.
And I also lost because I bet on Julio. He didn't win. So we're sitting in piss together, my friend. Nothing like a good battle in the All-Star game. He's going splitter right here, apparently. Oh, he went heater. Got a nice little pop out. It is so crazy seeing a Texas Rangers pitcher with 6 position players in right now for the Rangers. This is just a Rangers game. Shout out the Rangers, though.
Such a long to get a hit.
Yeah.
Can't wait for a couple of years from now when Jack is calling this game on Fox.
Facts.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Aram, run us through this at bat.
Yeah, Evaldi said like the cutter in, try to get it in on his hands, but there's no one who gets their hands in better than Luis Arias. And there you go. I mean, this guy is just a master class of being short and quick to the ball. It's a launch quickness. It's a,
Fired up. No one gets more fired up for a base hit than Luis Arias.
look at this dude.
Loves base hits.
Look at that, dude. Nobody's hands work that quickly. It's just unbelievable stuff. I'm curious, if in the chat, would you take over under 370 batting average by the end of the year? He's at what, 370?
383.
383? Over under 375 by the end of the year. I want to see the picks in the chat. Like, dude, that is so gross at 91.
I thought it was a ball. Yeah, it was a strike.
He said over. One said over.
We got one over. Over. We got 2 overs. I love it. Oh my God. Those are
everything right now.
That's disgusting. And this is a double Tommy John guy. Don't forget that. Like, I got to think, we talked about it with like Walker. You know, for Walker Buehler to be able to watch Nate Eovaldi just like succeeding like this. I mean, you know, like it's not about the talent. And Eovaldi, extremely talented arm too, shows you like if you're super gifted, you can come back from even 2 TJs, which is really a testament to. I mean, Eovaldi's always been a freak. Like, I mean, I remember when the Marlins swapped Hanley Ramirez for him, and he was a Dodgers prospect, and he comes over, he was like 100, like easy 100, and I mean, even now, like double TJ, he's 96. And with life, but the whole arsenal has just become so deep for him. And Walker's the same way, though. Like, Walker doesn't just need to overpower you. I mean, like, dude, like I'm telling you, Walker can come back and dot 94 like that.
He's probably sitting splitter right there.
Yeah.
He kind of
Well, that's the one spot with 2 strikes. Like, you have to give up as a hitter, and if you spot it there, it's fucking money. Please don't hurt your shoulder.
Every day on my way to work. It's 2.5-hour drive. Love your 1.5 hours.
Yeah, we go quite long. Thank you so much. That's a long commute, man. I respect that. I appreciate you listening to us. Thanks so much. We got 2 coming out this week. We got one out right now.
I'm feeling a big hit from Corbin Carroll right here.
But thank you for the support, Owen. Nope, that's a ball. That's out. Why do we have a camera? Oh, okay, they zoomed in on it. I was so confused for a second.
Both mic'd up right now.
Are they talking to each other? Where's the run? Where's the run times there?
Robot umpires are in the near future of MLB.
Good question.
I think they're going to go to the ABS system or whatever. And Jack can talk more about that because he sees it firsthand in triple. I've seen it in some of the games I've covered in the fall league and in low A. And then we saw it in the futures game. I think where you get like X amount of challenges, per game. And then you challenge it. It goes up on the screen, kind of like tennis. And you can, if you get it right, then you retain your challenge. I like that because ultimately, like, I think a robo and that kind of side of it it's just really far the other way. And I feel like at the end of the day, there's not that many calls that are missed. It feels way worse than it is. And it's not about how many, like there's a few balls and strikes through a game that it is what it is. It's the pivotal ones. And like, if you can challenge the pivotal ones and get those overturned, then like, I don't think it's as big of a deal. I think most umpires miss 5 calls a game, 6 calls a game, sometimes a little bit more than that. And if you can challenge 3, 4 of them, I think that really makes up for the difference. I don't think we have to go like all the way to like, full blown robo umps. I think that'll kind of take something out of the game. But
And yeah, just before I like the manager arguing with the umpire. Like that just element of the game is fun too. And so if they can make it as precise as possible, because I also like the challenge aspect. Watching in the futures game too, where they go like this and then you could see it on the screen. It takes a little bit longer, but I still like it. And it's not that long and it's pretty quick, but yeah.
No, it's an added element to the game that I think is really enjoyable because you do have this brief moment of suspense and build up to it. It's like, oh, everybody look at the big board, and you can almost do like the slow clap waiting for it to come in. But yeah, I mean, it's really quick. It's a matter of 2-3 seconds. And the other thing that I really appreciate it too is, like it limits the ump show for sure because they can be checked. But it also limits the players immediately, like showing up umpires as well. And umpires are maybe the most disrespected people in sports. They do a good job, man. Like there are some that don't do a good job. But for the most part, like if you are a major league umpire, you've gotten there through a really serious vetting process. Like there are umpire auditors at AAA games constantly. Once a week, I see somebody there from the major league office that's like, going over these games post game. Like they work really hard. I appreciate that it's almost like an immediate avenue to cooler heads where like, instead of, oh my God, that call was terrible. Like you suck. I hate you. It's, I'm going to challenge. I think you were wrong. Yeah. You go up, you're either looking like an idiot and it's like, no, that was very much so a strike, or the umpire acknowledges a mistake immediately. I think it's a great diffuser. And let me tell you, with the full ABS system, it takes human element out of it entirely, and that's no fun. It also, like, think about how the strike zone may adapt. If a guy is peppering the lower outside corner, he is going to be gifted the lower outside black, maybe if it is a millimeter off the zone. But that zone doesn't change when it's fully computerized. It's, entirely digitized. We have Mitch Keller on the hill in the bottom of the second. I love that.
He's earned it.
Raise the Jolly Roger.
My one thing just about the umpires real quick is, to your point, Jack, they do work really hard, but the umpires union is so strong that it does feel like those guys who don't do a good job continue to get put out there. And that's really annoying because there are, to your point, a lot of really good umpires, but Angel Hernandez was an umpire for a very, very long time. That's gone. See you later. Yandy Diaz. It was always Yandy Diaz off Mitch Keller. How did we not predict that in the second inning? How did we not predict that? American League takes a 1-0 lead because that's what they do. They win the All-Star game kind of no matter what. No, I mean, it's so early, so we'll see what happens. But Yandy Diaz took Mitch Keller 383 feet at 102 miles an hour. Is there a question in chat? Congrats on 1K on Spotify, by the way. 1,000 5-star reviews. Let's get it, boys. Thank you guys all out there for listening. We really appreciate that. Yanni Diaz. I picked the wrong Ray to win MVP because now Yanni Diaz is in the lead. So never mind about the tread masterclass, Aram.
No,
Do you think now people are not going to go to tread anymore? Yes.
yeah, it's toast.
Mitch Keller's been so phenomenal though this year.
That was only 102.
He was 102, 383 feet, just snuck out of there.
Sweeper at 2,800 RPMs.
Get it up to 3,000. Maybe you can get it out on that. 10th NL rookie to start the All-Star game. That's pretty cool for Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, 2 rookie starters.
2 rookie starters. I want to listen to this Corbin Carroll interview. That was nasty.
That was disgusting.
Left field's his favorite. Probably just easier. He's like, I just want to hit. That slurve is disgusting.
It's a ball player right here.
Holy sweeper is right from Joshua. What is good horizontal break and vertical break for pitching? So 20 inches of vertical break is like the magic number for absolute, induced vertical break of that like elite point, right? Spencer Strider is one that comes to mind. Who's another guy like Bryce Miller of the Mariners gets an incredible amount of induced vertical break. I think Brian Wu of the Mariners is another guy doing that similar thing, right?
It's a vertical attack angle.
Yeah, vertical attack angle. Why don't you speak more to that?
All right, I'll break into it. There's a couple different things. I'll get into like some of like pitch qualifications, like a chart I reference often for prospect stuff. But when it comes to the fastball, like there's 2 things that I think can really make it play up. And one is vertical attack angle, which is like VAA, which is like where you're releasing it. And the closer to -4 you are, the better it is. Like Joe Ryan is like -4 flat. Brian Wu is like -4 flat. It just makes it look like you're releasing the ball really, really low. When you get induced vertical break, which that actually is baked into, anything above 19, 20 inches is phenomenal. If you combine the low attack angle with the high induced vertical break, you have a fastball that just no one hits. From a horizontal perspective, there's different like measurements and things like that. But like a good sweeper, it's going to be right around like 15, 18 inches of horizontal. And then it's also a balance of like vertical versus horizontal. There's so many different like pitch qualifications and things like that. For a sweeper, you want less vertical, more horizontal. For a cutter, you want, a little bit more than 4 vertical and depending on how much horizontal. It's crazy. It's all an equation. And that's why they have these pitching labs, is like for different players from different release points with different stuff, different shapes are advantageous. So there's not really one like cookie cut way. But if you see 20 inches of horizontal on a sweeper, it's probably fucking good. And that's kind of what Mitch Keller is ripping right now, which is absurd.
He might have the best slurve in baseball right now. I know if you go on Fangraphs and you go to pitch modeling, you can kind of see the WRC Plus version is the way to simplify it of how they grade pitches. So if you look at Stuff Plus and you go to sliders, if I'm not mistaken, Mitch Keller is #1 with the sweeper. And it makes sense, right? He's been dominant this year, but he doesn't have like an incredibly electric fastball. We've seen him get up to higher than 100 in tread videos in the offseason, but he's not doing that, even right now or, in the regular season for the Pirates. But that sweeper has been his bread and butter, right? And Joe Ryan, the way he's made a huge step up too is adding that splitter. Because he always had the sweeper, and the fastball is that invisible, we call it, because it's from the vertical attack angle, right? It's at -4. And then on top of it, Joe Ryan's. Yeah. And then you got, how many inches of induced vertical break Joe Ryan's got on the fastball? Are we at 19 or are we at 20? We'll cue it up real quick for the people. What are you looking at right now? Are you looking at some Mitch Keller propaganda?
It's about Joe Ryan. Yeah, Joe Ryan only gets 15.
Joe Ryan only 15, so no wonder he's got a 3.79. Not that good, right, Jack?
Yeah, great note from Cespedes Family Barbecue on Twitter. Underrated All-Star game thing is cell phones in the dugout. Big leaguers finally get to play Clash of Clans while they watch ball. But, like, that is very nice to have your cell phone in the dugout. Like, these guys are just kind of hanging out. Like, they're going to go ball. I want to see cell phone in the back pocket. Remember Rodolfo Castro slid at third base and the iPhone popped out? Like, I'm trying to see an iPhone pop out of a guy's back pocket. But, yeah, Keller, I was taking a peek. You know, you mentioned how good the sweeper is. Opponents hitting $190. They're slugging 250. Opponents hitting $161 against his four-seamer. So, like, while his four-seamer is not 100, it is good. And opponents are having a tough time with it. And Keller is the kind of guy that will mix 4 or 5 pitches on any given night. And if he's got that fastball and that sweeper working, I mean, it is a beautiful rhythm. Sonny Gray, another guy. I mean, fastball usage is very low. He's going to spin you to death. He's spun his.
Someone asked if the Rodolfo Castro card was redeemed.
It was redeemed.
No, but then he said, Jack, you're so handsome.
So he won.
Hell yeah, bro. I already gave it away. So tough luck, Bubba. But no, I appreciate that. No, it was redeemed. That was awesome. It was a great event in Seattle on Sunday. But yeah, man, I mean, Sonny Gray, like, he just doesn't throw heaters. What he does, like, it's spinning any which way. Everything is moving, and it's such a balance game. Everybody is uncomfortable facing Sonny Gray, and the fact that he spun himself to Seattle after everything that guy has done in his career is really impressive.
No, it's so funny. So I went to an A's game with my dad. I don't remember when it was. It probably had to be right before I went to college, maybe 7-8 years ago. We were watching Sonny Gray throw a bullpen, and I was like, that was the greatest bullpen I have ever watched. And the reason I said that is because everything was moving and the catcher's glove was not moving. Everything was perfectly placed, and then he was so good for the A's. And my dad and I looked at each other. It was like, we need Sonny Gray on the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And then Sonny Gray went to the Yankees and just really, really struggled. And Walker actually kind of laid it out for us. And it's definitely a bunch of different factors. But I know the Yankees were tooling with his pitch mix, which didn't end up going well. And then he left. And on an interview Michael Kay was doing with Hal Steinbrenner, they asked what was the biggest, not whiff, because they didn't whiff on Sonny Gray. He's very good. He just didn't end up working with the Yankees. But Hal mentioned that as someone who they look back on and say, man, I wish we could have had that one back instead of what I mean is by doing things a little bit differently. Because, with Hicks, right, that's a strike out of Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, that's how good Sonny Gray is. He can just be that nasty when everything's moving. Who'd they give up for him? Yeah, I mean, Dustin Fowler.
Dustin Fowler's one of them.
Dustin Fowler.
I think it's
James Caprillion.
James Caprillion, and the third one is very funny. Jack, I know who it is, so I want to see if anyone in the chat knows. He's an active MLB player right now. Who's the third player traded in the Sonny Gray trade from the Yankees to Oakland? We have Dustin Fowler is piece 1. James Caprillion was piece 2. Piece 3 is very funny. I want to see if anyone in the chat knows it.
While they think about it, there's a thoughts on a trade, a little mock trade.
Bang, they got it. Jorge Mateo.
Jorge Mateo.
Jorge Mateo. Props to the chat for that one. They got it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's been all
bouncing around again.
Yeah, he should.
We got 3 good questions.
3 good questions. Let's see them.
Thoughts on MLB working on creating their own sticky substance?
Stupid as hell. I get that, like, right now it's very, like, arbitrary as to what's a sticky substance and what's not, but it's not like guys are getting tossed every week. There's a couple that, like, weird situations that were like he said, she said, whatever. But I think the crackdown that they've done is good enough. If anybody has an egregious amount of sticky stuff, they'll get caught. If you have a small amount, you might get away with it, and it's fine. You can roll the dice. Certain guys, I don't think guys getting thrown out that didn't actually have sticky stuff happens enough for it to be an issue. I think messing around with that is crazy. We're seeing it in the Southern League right now, actually, which will be done in 2 days, thank goodness. But in Double-A South, I mean, these teams are all dealing with these tacked baseballs, and the movement profiles on the pitches are way, way different. And it's just harder for hitters. Strikeout rates up like 3 or 4% in that league. Like, that's just stupid. They don't need that. Pitchers have enough of an ability to throw right now. Let's not make it any easier for them. It's fine.
Next question. What do you guys think the Blue Jays should do before the deadline?
I'll toss that to you guys, but the one thing I'll say before I hand it over, I don't think they need to do that much. They're a little pitching reinforcements, but like they've got the team. I think they need Dalton Varsho to play better. I think they need Alek Manoah to pitch better, which he looks good now after that last start. Like maybe go get an arm, but like maybe get a bullpen arm. I'd say probably number one bullpen arm, right?
Yeah, I think, I mean, Jordan Romano has been, all-star caliber. I think that's why we might end up seeing him in this game. You look at their bullpen and there's still good arms right back there. Like Yimi Garcia, I think is fine, right? You got Eric Swanson back there too. They could use another, like, I would like them to go get maybe a Justin Lawrence from the Colorado Rockies. He's a guy who I really like. I think the sweeper is unbelievable. I think you get him out of Coors Field and he kind of turns into the next Adam Ottavino. And I know that might not be flashy right now as we speak today with the New York Mets and Adam Ottavino, but Adam Ottavino was a phenomenal reliever for a very long time. Like even a Jake Bird out of Colorado. Maybe they go to Detroit and say, what will it take for Jason Foley or Alex Lang, right? I think they could be creative in the bullpen too. And I think there will be starters that will be available at the deadline. But they don't need to go get a huge arm. I would just like them to get a backup plan in case Manoah doesn't figure it out. Because I don't know if Mitch White is that answer. I think if you have a rotation of Gausman, Bassett, Kikuchi, Manoah, but like if let's say we're not relying on Manoah at all this season, I think whatever he gives you this season is a cherry on top of the sundae. I'd like to see them get a good starting pitcher. They don't need to go crazy. I mean, if they decide they want to go get Shane Bieber, go get Shane Bieber. But even getting a Lucas Giolito from Chicago, even a Michael Kopech from Chicago, guys like that, like you don't need to break the bank. You don't need to leverage any real assets. But get someone like that, just a security blanket, and then be creative in the reliever market.
Yeah, I don't even think the sky is falling if they don't go get a starting pitcher. I think they have the easiest. I think they have the easiest checklist of any team at the deadline that's looking to buy. It's you don't need a closer, you don't need a setup guy, you don't need starting pitching, you don't really need lineup help.
You don't need it, but if you want to win the World Series, I think you need to do it.
Yeah, but you need an eighth inning guy. You're not supplanting Romano
or Swanson.
So yeah, I mean, like go grab another end of the game reliever. Yeah. Like you're looking for 2 1-inning relievers. That's it. That's a very easy checklist to go get done. And
plenty of them.
There's a lot of them. There's always relievers. And the thing about relievers, the thing about 1-inning relievers in particular is the list of guys that are great stays somewhat consistent. I mean, like the top dog changes, but if you are a great reliever, chances are you will still be really good year by year. But the good relievers that can be moved at the deadline, those are changing constantly. Like look at what the Dodgers had going on with Yency Almonte and Vesia last year. Those look like 2 of the best setup men in baseball a year ago. And now Vesia got optioned and Almonte had like an 8 ERA 2 months into the year.
Yeah, Vesia's back, which at least is good. But
exactly. So like these 8th inning guys change all the time. Ryan Tepera, I think, was DFA. It's not a minor league free agent deal. Aaron Loop. These guys both got about $9 million deals, and they were marquee grabs at the deadline in 2021. So, I mean, those guys. That's as close to a guy growing on trees as we get in baseball, and I think the Blue Jays just need to grab 2 guys that grow on trees.
We got another question about the Mets. Oh, yeah. You want to do the trade one? This is thoughts on this trade. Jordan Montgomery and Brendan Donovan for Grant McCray, Everson Arteaga. Arteaga, and Mason Black. Gentlemen, any thoughts on that one? Is that just asinine?
It's not asinine, but yeah, you're gonna need to give up more than that for Brendan Donovan and Jordan Montgomery. I think Black's a really good pitching prospect. He's actually one of the more underrated out there. Fastball is great. Breaking ball is good. He's got an electric arm, but he's not a top 100. There's not one top 100 prospect there. Grant McCrae's older for his level, super toolsy, power speed combinations, really exciting. I think he was a 2020 guy last year, but hit tool questions. And then Arteaga's classic bat to ball middle infielder, pretty solid prospect. You're going to need to give up more than that. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I think, Montgomery won't be that expensive, but at the end of the day, rentals this year, I think, are going to be a little bit more expensive than usual. And then Donovan, that's an asset. Brendan Donovan's he comes with years of control. He can play every position. He's a good hitter. You'd have to give up, I think, a lot to get Donovan, but you could get Montgomery for two of those guys, probably.
Should we talk Mets?
Yeah.
We can talk Mets.
Real quick, Josiah Gray on the hill in the bottom of the third inning for the National League. All four of us were at Syracuse at the same time, graduated in 20. Josiah Gray was at Lemoyne while we were at Syracuse. So Lemoyne College, Josiah Gray was a shortstop and a closer at Lemoyne College from 2017 to 2019. And here he is pitching in the All-Star game. People should not be able to do that, but Josiah Gray did that.
Division II.
Yeah, we talked the same thing kind of about Brent Rooker, right? And people, make fun of should Brent Rooker make it? Should the A's have a representative? I think it's pretty damn cool that Brent Rooker just a couple of years ago was striking out at historic levels in the Minnesota Twins organization. And now that he's an all-star for the Oakland A's, deserving, I don't know. We could argue about that until the sun goes down, but still just really cool, right? So that's all I wanted to say too.
Before you guys tell the chat that I need to swap the battery, you guys can
Oh.
talk and
Producer Cohen is going to swap the battery. We got a Josh Young fly out to center field, a little bit can of corn. We're going to switch out the battery, so you'll still hear our voices, but it'll be a quick. The camera will go down for a second. But let's talk Mets before the inning is over. Is it too late for the Mets already? Do you think they'll be active sellers at the deadline? One thing I know about Steve Cohen is he ain't selling. He came out and he said we're going to win a World Series within 5 years. The last thing they're going to do is sell. Right? Who would they sell? I mean, what are you going to sell? Verlander, Scherzer? Are you going to sell Senga? Obviously not. You're going to sell Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor. These are all the guys they signed. Could they be creative? Maybe, but they're going to be buyers. They could. I think realistically, guys, the Mets could be 20 games under 500. They'd be buying.
I just don't think they do anything.
They might not do much. They really might not because they're in a similar spot to the Yankees, where it's you just need your players that are in the game to play better. You're not looking for upgrades, right? Are you going to go grab Lane Thomas from the Nationals and then bench Canna? Probably not. Are you going to go get a right fielder and sit Marte on the bench who has not been good this year? No, you're not. Right? McNeil just needs to play better. Right? You got Brett Beatty now. You got Francisco Alvarez now. The team is the team. It just has to play better. So, and, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm dealing with a similar situation. That's why I'm a little bit lower on the Mets. Is it time to give up? Absolutely not. We're halfway through the season. We got a full another half. They're going to be fine. I think they're going to be competing for a playoff spot. I really do. Will they make the playoffs? I'm not so sure.
Will some? What was that question? Would some sort of firing help the Mets/Padres like the Phillies last year, or is it too late for something like that? I don't think it's too late for something like that. Yeah, I just don't think that's the right thing to do, especially in the Padres' sake with Bob Melvin. I'm telling you, Bob Melvin's not the problem. It's an underperforming Machado. It's an underperforming Xander Bogaerts, a hampered Xander Bogaerts, and it's the players that we had a feeling could be bad that are actually bad, like an Austin Nola and a Trent Grisham. So that's not a Bob Melvin problem. Yes, part of it is a Buck Showalter problem, but you're not firing Buck Showalter. I don't think you do. I wonder what the Mets would. I wonder how the Mets would go about it. Can Billy Epler go and not Buck? It's a tough question to answer. Typically, the answer is no. It's not Buck's fault. You're right, Cohen. It is more Buck's fault than Melvin's fault. But it's also
Buck had 101 wins last year. Like, was he doing something? Buck had 101 wins last year. Was he doing something completely different this year than last year? Like, that's why, like, with managers, it's so tough because.
But the wheels fell off in the second half. The wheels fell off for the Mets in the second half last year. That's the thing. Like, I think if you take the record,
but like, kind of fell off. Like, they won 101 games. I know what you're saying though. They were worse in the second half, but like wheels falling off. I feel like is you were like if the Rays didn't make the playoffs this year, that would be wheels falling off. Maybe we just have different definitions of wheels falling off.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, man. Like, I almost see like Rome fell in 3 games in a wild card series against the Padres at home.
Wait, do you want to?
I was just it's a bad time.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Keep talking.
No, you got it. Yeah, we're gonna go dark on video for a moment, but you're gonna hear me spit bars about the Mets while this happens. Rome fell for them in a 3-game stretch in the wild card series. Like, the optics surrounding the New York Mets were piss poor at that point. And like, I mean, what you had their own like broadcast crew saying some things about like managerial decisions from Buck Showalter during that wild card series. Like, things were obviously very testy at that point. I do consider that just kind of like falling off from how good they were. I mean, I remember having the conversation at this time last year, All-Star break. Does New York have the 2 best teams in baseball? The fact that the Mets looked very vulnerable after the All-Star break last year and were bounced before they actually got to the NLDS says a lot about that downfall. I think this year...
The Mets should get back? The Mets should go get Luis Rojas back.
No.
No, but and because there's the reason why I joke about that and bring it up is because there's another good question in the chat. Plus, do the Mets have any in-house candidates? Probably not, right? So I always ask, you know, if you're going to fire a manager, who are you going to hire? And I think a popular answer may be like Joe Madden, right?
But like, that's just
exactly. But that's just another manager who was fired. Like, it's tough. It's really tough with managers. And, you know, it's just, I wish I had a better answer. I never have good answers when it comes to managers because we genuinely don't know what their impact is on the clubhouse. The guy won 101 games last year. Is he doing? Buck Showalter's been managing, I think, for what, 28 decades? I think he's been managing since Connie Mack. No, but not actually. But like, you know what I'm saying in the sense of he knows how to manage a baseball game. Have there been questionable decisions this year? Absolutely. There was questionable decisions last year, and they still won 101 games. I don't ever know how to accurately answer a manager question because I don't know how much they're actually managing. I don't know how much is Billy Epler in the front office sending Buck a optimized lineup based on a model based on the starting pitcher that they're expecting? Probably. And he's just playing that lineup. I know that's what a lot of teams do is they'll simulate the games 10,000 times. They'll give you the best lineup based on that model, and then you play it. That's why fans are always like, why is the lineup changing all the time? That's why. But I agree with some fans in the sense of like, sometimes you got to let guys get comfortable in a specific spot in the lineup. It's just tough.
Kirby's letting 99 rip right now. Shout out George Kirby, man. Cohen, you know George Kirby? He's a Rye, New York guy. He's a Long Island guy. Producer Cohen played a summer with George Kirby. You caught
Kirby when he was throwing like 90.
Ground ball double down the left field line. You caught him when he was no. But Kirby was like 89, 90 in high school. When he got to Elon, he was 88 to 89. That's so cool. Cohen was there when George Kirby fell in love with Elon, and Kirby was like the clear-cut 2 at Elon. I know Aram and I have talked about Kyle Bronovich, who was a Team USA guy, and I think Bronovich is still in the minor leagues, but Bronovich was like the clear-cut Friday guy. Kirby was the Saturday. I saw him close games on the Cape, and he was, you're right, like 88 to 90 when he got to Elon. I read this awesome article on Kirby just kind of like immediately diving into what was going on with his body and like maximizing, almost doing the drive line thing as soon as he got to Elon. I think he started throwing with these plyo balls and all that. And I mean, he started to jump, man. He was 95, 96 out on the Cape in closer roles. And then he shows up his junior year. Bless you, Aram. He shows up his junior year and he's like fully 97 and 98 grabbing nines. And then I think he hit 100 a couple times in the minor league. So Kirby is one of, who did we talk about? Luzardo. We talked about Luzardo on the Just Baseball show, which is coming out on Thursday. We said this is one of the best young pitchers in baseball. George Kirby, objectively, is one of the best young pitchers in baseball.
No doubt about it.
Can we go to this Red Sox question?
Yeah, let's go to a Red Sox question for sure.
He said, "Are Red Sox just hoping to stay around and hope Stroik puts them over the top?"
The thing is with the Red Sox, and I've been pretty vocal about this, I just don't think it's their year, which is not like a bad thing because the Red Sox have done this before. They finish in last and then they win the World Series. I think the Red Sox this season, they signed a bunch of veteran guys to get people to the ballpark and to remain competitive because they are the Boston Red Sox and they can't tank. I think it was fully up to Chaim Bloom. He would have gutted this thing and we'd be looking at a Red Sox team that would be in the bottom of the barrel. But the reality is they signed, Justin Turner. They signed Kenley Jansen. And I think the Red Sox will be moderately competitive this year. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to buy at the deadline. I don't think Trevor Story is going to make that much of an impact. I think this team finishes with 79 to 80 wins. And the thing is, I think they could legit win the World Series next year. I'm not saying that lightly. Now, am I predicting them to win the World Series? These guys are looking at me like I have four eyes, and I understand. But I think they are building something. I really, really like Brian Bayo. I really like Garrett Whitlock. Really like Garrett Whitlock is a little bit too far. But let's watch this Luis Ariz at bat. I don't know. I just have a feeling I've seen this Red Sox team do crazy things. Another hit for Luis Ariz. He is just the best. I mean, he's just the best. It was always Luis Ariz and JD Martinez. These guys are just box office. But to answer your question more about the Red Sox, I think they will be better next year. I don't think this year is their year, and I think we'll see that at the deadline when they aren't very active. And I think they could potentially sell some pieces. I want to hear Aram's dream Marlins deadline.
It's gonna be so lame.
It's not going to be lame. You're the second best team in the National League right now.
Yeah, but they can't do shit. I think my legitimate dream deadline is gonna sound pretty sad. I think it's Heimer Candelario and Elias Diaz. Yippee. Get the parade going.
All-Stars almost.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, I do think those two guys make a huge difference for the lineup. I mean, it really does. And it sounds like smaller moves. I just don't think the Marlins have them crazy assets. And that's deep. All right. Adolis is just make. Yeah, he literally you can't see. But no, I'd love Diaz, Candelario. I think that makes the lineup pretty balanced 1 through 9. No superstars, but no hole. And yeah, the sun must be brutal. But yeah, that would be my ideal. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of catching options available, and I think Diaz, even though the numbers might tick down outside of Coors, still a huge upgrade for them. So I'd be in on either of those. I can't see Jacob Stallings play baseball anymore. It's going to kill me.
Can we go back to one question?
Yeah.
James Karinchak. How good is James Karinchak's trade value? Could he help boost a Shane Bieber trade package? He got boost.
Yeah, if they attach him with Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
Let me check Maga Check real quick.
Yeah.
I just watched Karinchak throw. Ooh, nope. Save, stolen base, Luis Ariz. I just watched James Karinchak throw, I think 2-3 times a couple weeks ago, and Karinchak still has it. It's mid-90s. It's a curveball,
6 walks per 9.
6 walks per 9 at the big league level this year. Yeah, he got optioned. The ERA doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look option worthy. I think it's mid to high 3s, but the walks are what killed him. Yeah, he's been dominant in AAA. He's a big league reliever. He's a 7th inning guy in the major league level. I think you could almost – he is out. I think you could almost get something for Karinchak in its own right, but if you did want to boost a Bieber package and get a massive return as opposed to a really good return, Karinchak would help elevate that on the Guardians front going out.
His strikeout rate is in his 8 relief appearances in AAA.
How many innings has he thrown in triple?
8 innings.
He's thrown 8 innings. I bet he's got.
I bet he's at 40.
I bet he's. How many outs are in 8 innings? 24.
24.
You think he has 40 Ks? Oh no, 40%
40%
K rate.
K rate.
40%
Yeah,
K rate.
40%
Okay.
K rate.
In 8 innings, I bet this guy has 16 Ks, 15 Ks. Okay.
What's that percentage?
47.
47% K rate in the minor leagues. I mean, he's a big league reliever.
There's a bomb from Cannon Smith and Jigba off of him, though. Yeah.
Oh,
Get into it.
former Yankee
Is that Jack with
Cannon
the
Smith
bomb?
and Jigba.
Is that you, Jack?
That's King Kelman.
I know.
King Kelman.
Another question. Thoughts on the Brew crew? The offense is starting to pick up the last couple of weeks before all All-Star break.
To be honest with you, I'm kind of out on the Brewers. I mean, like, do I think they're going to make big deadline moves? No, I don't. Will they have stretches where their offense looks better? Absolutely. But whenever a lefty pitches against them, they can't hit, right? They can hit at home. They can't really hit on the road. You look at some metrics, and they even overperformed this part of the season. It's just hard for me to buy in the Brewers. I don't know when Brandon Woodruff is coming back. Corbin Burns has taken a slight step back. Freddie Peralta looks great, and then he doesn't. Devin Williams is fantastic, and then there's some bullpen arms like Joel Payamps, I think, has been fantastic. But they just don't do it for me. There's something there. Like, you're in the National League Central, and you're not at top of the division right now. I think that's all there needs to be said. Are any of you guys high on the Brewers? Like in the second half?
Depending if I hope they don't trade anybody away. I don't think they're going to add. I hope they don't trade anybody away. But Yelich is playing really well, which is cool. Yelich seems like he's kind of back, which is awesome.
Probably just healthy.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, he was 284, 378, 456.
All-Star.
11 pumps, 21 bags. He should be an all-star. 3 WAR. But Willie Adames cannot play worse in the second half. Bro's hitting 213 with a 294 on base percentage. Like, that's absurd. Joey Weimer's continued to settle in, and I know he's not hitting for average, but great defense in the outfield. 12 homers, 11 bags. I think he's going to keep getting better. I don't think they're anything special, but at the same time, if the Reds slip a little bit, and we talked about them overperforming, I don't think the Brewers are going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going to go up or down. I think they're going to stay right there. So, I'm with you. I don't think they're going to, get stronger and take off. They just optioned Luis Arias. How is that possible? How is he not playing well? And they're not going to add. But I think that they'll kind of tread this, 5-6 game over 500 mark and go. If they get
win team.
Yeah. 80, they'll be that 85 to 87 win team that makes the playoffs and then gets bounced. That's what I think. But if Woodruff comes back and looks great, which is a big if, then I feel okay. Because again, when you get into the playoffs, Burns can still be Burns whenever, Woodruff can be Woodruff whenever,
Freddie.
and you have Freddie. It could go horribly because those guys are all volatile right now.
Better than all of them.
Yeah. But there's a world where if they get to the playoffs, something can happen. But to me, it's the Reds to lose. But they could lose it. And that's it.
Anything on the Brewers?
I don't think so. No, I mean, I hope they don't do that drastic thing where they move a Corbin Burns.
I feel like they're gonna.
Yeah.
That's my main point here is I have never any confidence that the Brewers won't just blow it up. And I think that's my issue with the Brewers. It's I don't even know if we're talking about the same Brewers in a month. And I don't think it's because they added. I think it's because they subtracted. And maybe they don't really do anything. But the Brewers are going to make these in the margins moves where they trade a reliever and for a prospect, and then you're down an arm, right? They may trade Wade Miley, and then you're down him, right? So it's and Wade Miley's been good for them this year. So it's tough for me to buy stock in the Brewers when I think they're going to be sellers more than buyers, and they may not end up doing anything. And if they don't do anything, they're not that great. So anything else, Producer Cohn?
About the AL
spot in the AL East.
Think there's a change in the one spot in the AL East?
We just talked about this. Aram, this is one of your bold predictions. And I want people to listen to the podcast, so don't give it all away. Get Spark Notes. It's like you're getting ready for like you have a test in English on a book, and you're like, all right, I got to read the 1-page summary instead of reading the book, which will be on the podcast on Thursday.
I was very good at trying to find the Spark Notes and summaries for school. Yeah, I made my case on the podcast for the Baltimore Orioles to overtake the Rays. And there's some moving parts to it. There's reasons why I think they're going to be better just naturally with the team that they have. And then there's a bunch of reasons why I think they can go out and make some pretty aggressive deals. So definitely check out the pod. I think that's the Thursday pod that we're putting out, right? So it'll be the Thursday pod where each of us gave 3 predictions, some more bold than others, for the second half of the 2023 season. And it was a fun episode. I think you guys will enjoy that. But I make my case for the Orioles at number 1. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we got really quick. What would Luis Urias hit in a junior varsity 20-game season?
I'm not kidding. 1,000. I'm not kidding. He would hit 1,000. He would not get out once. I also think Luis Urias would.
Maybe he did like a low liner to center and get out once. Oh, look at Ohtani being fast.
I think legitimately, if you put Luis Urias in high A, I think he'd hit 600.
Maybe higher. He'd walk so much.
Like he actually, yeah.
So much.
I think he'd hit a bunch of bombs too. Like because there should be so many pitches left over in the middle, and he'll get his A swing off and just crush it. I think he'd hit 600 with 25 pumps.
So there's a massive difference between AAA and the bigs. And like you see a lot of rehabbers that are like, so players at the big league level that come down and like hit tanks for 3 games and then go back up to their 80 WRC plus. Like if Arise honestly spent the entire year in triple, he could flirt with 500, I think.
Oh, I think he'd be higher.
I'll read you Tatis's stats. So Fernando Tatis Jr., who obviously is a more talented baseball player, but in terms of just batting average, I'm taking Arias, of course. Fernando Tatis Jr. in 8 AAA games hit .515 with 7 homers, which was a 300 WRC plus. He slashed .515, .590, .1212 for an 1802 OPS. Like that, and that's AAA. Like that's the highest level of minor league baseball. This guy hadn't played in a year. So like right now, if you sent him there, he'd probably hit 600. Like it's absolutely insane. I was also thinking about this. They're talking about like the second that Oakland and Tampa are settled, just the team situation there is settled. Rob Manfred and co are going to start getting on like a expansion search. The expansion draft is going to be such good content.
Good point.
It's going to be electric shit. I was just thinking about it today. First of all, every fan base is going to be shitting their pants. So what players am I losing? And then the other side of it is, who are the guys that are going to be left unprotected? And then the other side of it's going to be, how does this fucking draft go? The content, like we didn't have content creation back in the we were just born.
Yeah, when the Mariners were getting a new team.
Yeah, and the Marlins in '93, there was no fucking TikToks of like, here are the 5 players who were left unprotected in the expansion draft. Like we're gonna cook. That's gonna be so fun. I'm excited for that, and it seems like it's inevitable.
We'll probably post it on Threads.
Because Twitter's dead.
Yeah.
You're gonna put your VR headset and watch us walk you through it. Oh, fine, we'll be back. But I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna dig up some of the rules around the expansion draft for conversation. But if you guys want to buy me a second here,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, talk about who you think's gonna win this game.
Yeah, who do I think is going to win this game? I think the American League is going to win this game. Yeah, this is a big spot now for let's lock in on Yandy Diaz. Already 1-for-1 with the dinger. Good pitch by Cobb. Cobb is so underrated. I remember he was so good on the Rays.
One of the better ground ball pitchers. He's one of the better ground ball pitchers in baseball.
No doubt about it. And there's a ground ball right to Freddie Freeman, and they're out of the inning. Joe Davis couldn't have done that. One of the better ground ball pitchers, immediate ground ball.
I'm sure he could.
I don't think so. Do you think he knew? Does he know Ohtani's fast? Yeah, he does. No, he's pretty damn good at what he does. But guys, I think we're probably going to end this stream after the conclusion of the 5th inning. So make sure to drop in any more questions. Yeah.
This one about, so am I crazy for thinking the Reds rotation isn't as bad as people are saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, respectfully, like pretty crazy. I mean, Luke Weaver's starting games for them. Brandon Williamson has an ERA in the mid-5s. Like, it's a tough eat. But at full health, this Reds rotation is, I think, underrated, especially with how good Abbott has been throwing. Andrew Abbott has been, like, since his debut, one of, if not the best pitchers in the National League.
Luke Weaver is as good as J-Rod's derby pitcher, though.
Yeah. I mean, look, like,
Tell Stormy Weather I love him too.
Stormy Weather.
Aram loves you too.
Aram loves you too, Stormy Weather. While ago. All right. I love you, Aram. Oh, Stormy Weather 1919. We got it. I saw Stormy Weather 1876 in here earlier, so we have to make sure we're talking the right Stormy Weather. No, but like I think right now, yeah, unfortunately, you are pretty crazy for thinking that the Reds rotation is better than advertised. But when they're at full health and they get Green, Lodolo, Ashcraft back into the swing of things, and then you got Abbott as the 4, I think that, and Rhett Lauder on September 1, right? Justin Dunn, exactly. The old Hoss Radbourne season. Justin Dunn's going to throw 467 innings. Antone working his way back. And you found obviously an all-star in Alexis Diaz. You found something in Ian Jabot, who was bouncing around for a little bit, and he's a true, 7th, 8th inning guy. I really enjoy the Reds pitching staff, and I think at full health, this can be a very good stable.
If Victor Wembanyama fully dedicated himself to baseball, how far could he hit a baseball? It's a much better question than could he actually hit baseballs in the major league level, because we saw Michael Jordan, I think, put up a 6 WRC plus maybe. How far could Wemby, if he got those long arms extended and dedicated himself? No, it's just just getting those hands extended. It's so long and fast that he just hits a freaking nuke job. That's why Ellie is. I mean, there's way more reasons why Ellie's great, but yeah, I think Wemby could hit one of the highest baseballs. I don't know about far, but I think he could hit the ball very high in the air. Jack McMullen, if Wemby if he put a full year in, could he hit a ball 400 feet?
A full year starting right now.
Yeah.
Like from scratch, no. I don't think he could hit a ball 400 feet. My thing is, thought exercise for you.
Estevez in the 5th?
Yeah, Estevez in the 5th inning. My thought exercise is, instead of Wemby the hitter, think Wemby the pitcher. Wemby the pitcher from that angle with that length would be ridiculous. Limbs flying everywhere. I mean, this is like Sale, but add 1.5 foot to him.
That's a good point. Aram, what do you think?
I think pitching would be insane. Like the ball would be coming downwards.
How about this? It's home run derby. So it's not against an actual pitcher. It is just a guy throwing batting practice, and he's trying to hit the ball as far as he can after a year of training. Then how far could he hit it?
I don't know. I think he could hit it pretty fucking far. I think if he had a year of training, I think he could run into a 400-foot homer. Just because of how much momentum he will create with his arms. It'll be a long ass swing that would never work in games. But if you have a perfect pitching coach that puts it right in the sweet spot and he fucking gets the levers moving. Oh, also, by the way, Michael Jordan's stats in 1994 for the Birmingham Barons.
202, right?
Yes, 202, 290, 266, which honestly is not that bad.
Really
going straight to AA. 30 bags on 48 tries. 3 homers is crazy. To go deep 3 times in AA after legitimately not playing baseball, anything beyond high school, and obviously not having played for over a decade, is nuts to me. That's legitimately impressive. 17 doubles, 11 errors in the outfield. That's a problem. Also, I want people to guess what Tim Tebow's WRC plus was. You'd be surprised. Tim Tebow actually deserves even more respect. What Tim Tebow did was remarkable. In 84 AA games in 2018, Tim Tebow had a 106 WRC plus. He slashed 273, 336, 399 with 6 homers and a 34.6% K rate. But that's in AA. And then in AAA, 77 games, he had a 26 WRC plus.
Wait,
Oh.
one. Can we just watch this Juan Soto about it? I picked that he'd be the difference maker. Let's see if that ends up coming true. Juan Soto could potentially be the difference maker right here off Carlos Estevez. Instead, he's swinging a sword. He's swinging a sword right now. That's how nasty Estevez is. Like, I mean, what a hitter Juan Soto is, and the fact that he could just do that. Let's see what he does here, 0-2. Hey. 97. Estevez has been so good. Biggest name traded at the deadline. Probably Kendall Graveman. I mean, Shane Bieber's name has kind of been that answer where I think that's definitely an option. Juan Soto ended up not being the difference. Shocker. I do think Shane Bieber will be that guy who ends up being the biggest name traded, but because the White Sox came out and we talked about it on today's podcast that they don't want to trade Luis Robert. They don't want to trade Dylan Cease. They don't want to trade Eloy Jimenez or Andrew Vaughn. So you're kind of taking out all the thunder from the White Sox. Probably Justin Lawrence then. Probably Justin Lawrence.
You're going to hate my answer.
What is it?
Absolutely hate it. We talked about it on the Thursday show, and we get a little bit deeper into it, but Shohei Ohtani is the biggest name traded at the deadline.
We'll see.
Trout's out. If they nosedive, they have to recoup some of that value, and it has to be more than what they get if he just walks.
What did you say?
He said, you know that dude who plays in Los Angeles, fast lefty hitter, pitches time to time?
No.
You've never heard of him? Yeah. Fast.
There's one James Outman.
No, the run first pitcher for the Angels.
I'm trying to find the funniest Tim Tebow at that.
What do you got for us, Cole?
So yeah, somebody else asked, will any managers be fired? I know that
Well, any-
Bob Melvin, Marmol is going to be on the hot seat.
Marmol for sure is going to be the hot.
Be on the hot seat.
Phil Nevin could potentially be in the hot seat. I think the Twins need a new manager. I do not like how Rocco Baldelli manages this ball club. Because you're going through a lot of the guys. Like when I watch Twins games, sometimes I'm like, Rocco, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? The bullpen decisions I feel like are always so weird. And maybe he's got other people in his ear. Maybe it's not all him. I've really not liked the job that Rocco Baldelli has done for the Twins this season. Now, is he on the hot seat? Maybe not. It's just my opinion when I watch Twins games. And maybe Twins fans agree with me. Maybe they don't. But I know I've texted Colby sometimes when, a bet's losing or even when it's winning. And I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? We got rested Griffin Jacks. We got rested Duran. And we're like, we're going to Giovanni Moran here. Like, there's just been so many instances where I'm questioning his decisions. And when I watch Major League Baseball games, he's the manager outside of Ollie Marmol, who I'm like, what is that decision? It doesn't always end up biting him. I just feel like in the long run, and I'm not calling for his job. He probably won't even get fired. And maybe Twins really like him. That's just my opinion. Is there anybody that when you turn on MLB TV and you're watching games that you routinely are just like, what are we doing here?
No, I mean, just in terms of day-to-day practices, it's Ali Marmol.
Yeah.
Like, there's nobody-
That's the answer.
Yeah,
I was thinking of others. I was thinking of others that could potentially be in that mix besides the obvious.
Yeah, no, and I'm just going to go with the obvious. I think it's relatively quiet. Like, there's really no manager that I look at, consistently, and I'm like, wow, that was a bad decision. Obviously, some managers are a lot better in bullpen games than they are. Friend of the program, Justin Steele on the hill in the bottom of the fifth. But, yeah, I mean, I think Marmol, just the way that he's handled professionals in that clubhouse has been very unprofessional, and that is never the mark of a good manager, and that's not the mark of a leader at all. I thought the Tyler O'Neill rift immediately with a 2-time Gold Glover, a guy that
Got there by
is
grinding.
very well respected and has as good of a like literally body as anybody else in Major League Baseball. The fact that you are reprimanding him publicly without speaking to him first for not hustling. Yeah, like, dude, those washboard abs, how can you get on that guy? He's yeah. God, we only have one mic. No, man, I think like that level of immaturity with a bad team, he has no idea how to deal with adversity, and I think
he's canned.
yeah, full blown.
Who else? I Ollie Marmol was the answer. I just kind of went with a guy who I was like, I've not liked his decision making. Is there any manager in Major League Baseball right now, from what you've been watching, you're like, what the hell is going on here?
It's a great question. I know people like just look at bad teams and highlight them, like the White Sox. Not the manager's fault over there. Man, honestly, like it's either like old legend or respected dude on an underachieving team that like won't get fired, or he fits the description of what I just said. No way you fire Bob Melvin. It's just not Bob Melvin in my opinion, and like he's too respected.
Yeah.
You got to give that guy time.
Is it Buck? But like, I don't think it is either.
I don't think it's Buck. I think it's a little bit more Buck than Melvin, though. I really do think that Buck's a stubborn motherfucker, man. Like I love Buck. He's a legend. There you go. That was a nice play.
To go back to Jack's point about
Oh, wait, that was Josh
biggest
Young.
trade
Who's that
piece,
third?
what would that look like? A package.
We talked about it today. I don't I-
Oh, duh.
top one like if you give up more than a top 100 guy and a top 10 guy, like it's a bad trade. So I don't know how much you can give up for Shohei Ohtani in a trade. Like it just there's a certain point at which it just doesn't make sense. Like if you're the Angels, you need a top 100 guy. But if you're a team getting Ohtani for 3 months, you're going to give up more than a top 100 guy? Like you can't. You can't. And so it's a tough spot.
What about a guy with more control, like an Arenado? Did you talk about packages for Arenado at all?
Yeah.
We don't think he's going to get traded.
Because
You don't.
The reason why I don't think Arenado is going to be traded, because are you going to trade Arenado and not Goldie? Are you not going to tear it all the way down? You would just trade Arenado, who's on a pretty team-friendly contract based on his production. I just don't think you can do it. I really don't want to see Justin Steele go up around here. I want him to go scoreless. Big Justin Steele fans over here. Castellanos playing center. Oh, look how horrible the outfield defense is right now for the National League. You got Soto, Castellanos, and Gurriel Jr. Fly balls might be dropping here, folks. It might not even be Steele's fault if they get one in the outfield. And it didn't even matter. He struck him out. Justin Steele, you are such a train.
So fascinated by the expansion draft rules.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the 5th inning, which means the end of this stream. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. Make sure we'll be doing more of these streams, of course. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the draft stream, the All-Star stream. Just Baseball Show out now, right? We got the Tuesday episode up. We'll have one episode coming out on Thursday, which is episode 500. Again, thank you guys again for listening, supporting. And remember, this is brought to you by the Pikkit Sports app. If you want to do us a solid, and just do yourself a solid if you end up betting on anything, make sure to download the Pikkit Sports app. Use code Peter when you sync your sportsbook, and you get entered into a raffle. You can win anywhere from $3 to $100. So if you're looking for a little bit of free coin, that's a way to do it, right? So make sure to download the Pikkit Sports app. Link is in the chat. You click that link, download the free app. If you sync your sportsbook and use code Peter, you get entered into that raffle. Guys, really appreciate you again listening. Any final words?
I still don't think Ohtani gets traded to answer that last question. I think it's very unlikely. And thanks for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of the All-Star game, and looking forward to taking in the rest of the season with you guys, and a couple banger Just Baseball episodes coming out. So look forward to those.
Anything else, Jack?
It's trade deadline season. Rev your engines. I love it.
Rev them up. All right, everybody. We'll see you later.